What's up, guys? How are y'all? Good to see you. Hopefully good summers. A lot of work, some suntans. Let's do it.
I'm sure you want everybody to grow, Coach. At the same time, there's an assessment and urgency and a timeline on that. What's been your time frame for charting their growth and making decisions about who where?
Yeah, I would say every day is a measurement. I wouldn't necessarily give you a timeline, but every day we're definitely measuring, trying to get those quantitative measures, whether it be completion percentage, mental errors, low, so forth, at every position. So, we're in the early processes of that as far as final decisions, but every day is definitely a measurement, and we're trying to, touch all those details as we go.
You mentioned completion percentage and mental errors. What are the criteria to look at those closely when you're making decisions?
I think those are the big ones with the quarterback specifically. We're talking about ball security. That's a huge component as far as what we're trying to get done. We're talking about execution, right? Physicality. Those are all things that we're talking about. But, you're talking about with the quarterback specifically, the execution, right? That's the guy that's hopefully going to be out on the field. It's going to give us a chance to execute and make plays with the component of ball security.
How does this time of year differ for you coming back in August because you had the period of acclimation in the spring? Because it was new to you then, not new to you now. So what does that allow you to do different with these guys?
Yeah, I think the more longevity and more continuity you have, you're more in a macro level, right? A macro versus micro, right? You're in macro, meaning big picture, playbook drawings. You're really talking the big picture, whereas we've had that in the spring. Even the young guys coming in had that, hey, here are the playbook drawings. Now, the further we get, because really this is the third install that they've had with similar schemes, if you will. So now we're really trying to get into the details of whether it be footwork, decision-making, checks, the variations upon a playbook drawing per se.
What about Dylan? Where have you seen him make his biggest jump just from having your first look at him in January to now you're in August?
Yeah, and to be expected probably with all quarterbacks. There's just a comfort level as far as whether it be the play call that's given in, the coverage that they're seeing. I think the more reps and experience that you get, there's that comfort level that continues to grow, right? So, whether it be pocket presence, hey, we drop back, they bring a blitz, you're calm and poised in the pocket and make the right decision. So I think that's probably the good thing that I've seen or positive that I've seen, from the spring. It's kind of a big picture, a lot of moving parts. Introduction of playbook, introduction of defense. Obviously, Tony does a great job schematically with some exotic looks. So the experience, the meeting rooms, as we talk through it in the decision-making process, I think there's a comfort level that continues to improve.
I think the media days, Coach Rule spoke a lot about eliminating turnovers, being a big goal for the offense. I mean, is there anything you're coaching with these guys specifically to achieve that goal?
Well, there's obviously the physical component of handling the ball, whether it be quarterback center, snap gun, snaps from gun, et cetera. But I think there's a component of just decision-making in general, right? Are we making risky decisions as far as trying to put the ball in tight windows versus checking the ball down? So I think there's a couple of, pillars that you can address to try to improve that. So, again, a daily measurement we're working through and trying to get better at.
When you've got guys that have strong arms, and you have a couple who really do, how do you balance between don't make a risky decision, but also letting them have their stinger and make sure they're making throws they believe in?
Yeah, I think there is a fine line to that. I think there's a science, and you definitely don't want to take, as you say, take their stinger away. But we do have some guys that do have, arm talent for sure and can get down the field. I think there is a component of take what the defense is giving you too, right? Like, hey, they're playing cover 2. There's a drop 8. There's guys way back there. Obviously, we're not going to force the ball down the field, so that's not a time to do that. If they're allowing you or giving you a look to maybe do something aggressive down the field, then definitely we want to do it. Say they give us man coverage one time a game. Well, shoot, we don't want to miss that one chance to be aggressive in man coverage.
You have 5 or all 6 of your quarterbacks on the 120?
5. Yeah, 5. Yeah.
What's a guy we heard about a little bit over the summer, Jalen Grandstad? Can you go into that process of seeing him, maybe being surprised that day, and just what he can add to your group?
Yeah, I think as much as anything, it's just the experience in the room. He's obviously had success at his other stop, and that success gives him credibility in our room and that experience. So, he's got a great personality, great character. He's humble. He just wants to fit in and help in any way he can. He wants to be a coach, so he kind of has that unique perspective of learning the big picture, which I really appreciate. Garrett McGuire was kind of like that when I coached him at Baylor. Man, he was an awesome asset asset to me as far as that perspective of helping the quarterback, maybe a little different voice. So you love those the quarterbacks, that want to be coaches and give that unique perspective. So it's really nice. And then from a skill set standpoint, he's got really nice arm talent. He's athletic with his feet, can make some plays off schedule, whether it be run game or pass game. So I think he brings a nice skill set to us even on the field, for sure.
What have the conversations kind of been like with Dylan about just sort of handling the moment as a freshman, the national attention, and soaking that all in, but also still being a freshman in college and being a football player?
Yeah, I think that's a conversation you have with everybody, really, right? I mean, when you get to this level, there's a lot of eyes on you and a lot of voices. So, but at the end of the day, we can control what we can control, and it's just talking about the preparation day to day. And once the ball's snapped, then we make a right decision, and all that stuff that's outside really has no factor in what we're trying to get done. So the emphasis is, make sure we're on the same page. We're trying to get done from a coaching standpoint to a performance standpoint, and then God's ability will let you do the rest.
Glenn, coming back from the NFL, how is the process of installing headset communication with your TV?
Very similar. Yeah, very similar. And even in the NFL, shoot, a lot of these NFL teams, they're on wristbands anyway, so all of a sudden you go, hey, you push the button and it's wristband 3. Sometimes that's even all the communication there is even in the NFL, right? So we have a little bit of, there's some simple, communication, and then, it's really cool when in situational stuff, hey, this is 4 downs, or hey, this is this protection, or hey, be ready for this, alert this, so there's these little coaching points, and I think Sat talked to you guys about it. I think there is a fine line of too much communication. I remember one time when I was in Atlanta, I was talking to Matt, and I probably gave him too much stuff, and he came back and let me hear about it, right? So, and I respect that. I mean, please give us that feedback, but we want to kind of balance that as far as coaching points, whether it be too much or too little.
What have you learned about Heinrich Garber?
Just a competitor, character, humility, work ethic, wants to do it right, just everything you're looking for, really. I've been really, really impressed on a lot of levels with him. He's been nothing but a huge part of our room, again, both on and off the field. So excited to see that growth continue, as we get further into camp.
What kind of improvements have you seen guys make just in the summer, the work that they put in from how you've evaluated them?
Yeah. Like I say, this is kind of their third install, if you will, as far as the system. And really that second install, a lot of it was on them. They kind of installed it themselves. So, as that install continues to go, the more comfortable you are. But just the leadership, even with the young quarterbacks, as far as them leading a practice on their own is encouraging, right? So a lot of times you don't see that. And then the team being receptive to that. So that was kind of cool to see. And I think we got a lot of work and a lot of production in those few weeks.
Quarterbacks want to work with guys outside of the system you guys have here. What sort of guidelines do you have for how they pick that, and what you are comfortable with them doing, and then maybe things that you would prefer or things that you guys just talked about?
You're saying like at another facility or outside coach? Shoot, I mean, really, at the end of the day, we want to teach what we teach, and I've been around some good and some bad. I feel, convicted in some things that I want to try to get done. But anytime I feel like anybody's working on their craft, they're getting better. So I think, particularly in the quarterback world, everybody kind of has a guy, particularly in the summer, or whatever the case may be, they go out and work out with some other folks. And I think that's fantastic, because really at the end of the day, you're working on your craft. You're trying to perfect your craft. So I appreciate that extra effort. And then we kind of get back into training camp, then we'll kind of streamline on what we're trying to get done.
Over the course of your career, have you ever had a quarterback come back and you're like, I have to actually tweak that because that's not what I want to do?
Yeah, I think so. And again, shame on me if they feel more comfortable to do it the right way, and I'm like, no, we want to do this. If you feel more comfortable with this, and we feel like this can work, whether it be from a timing standpoint or mechanic standpoint, then hey, let's take a look at it and talk about it at the very least.
Hey, Glenn, can you speak on just the upgrades at receiver you made? I mean, you probably watched all the film last year and the injuries they dealt with. I mean, how confident are you with this new group of receivers your quarterbacks are throwing?
Yeah, I think probably more important than I'm confident, I think the quarterbacks are confident. I think there's a nice group of, particularly even with depth at all positions. So I think that's what I'm excited about more than anything, is our quarterbacks are confident in the guys that they have out there, whether it be a one-on-one matchup or maybe the number 2 receiver here. I don't think there's any hesitation to, hey, let's go let that guy make a play.
Anything else for Coach Thomas?
When you the offensive coordinator portion of your role, when you think about sort of the global structure of what's going on, what do you like about the offense right now? Like, what impresses you about it?
I like just the multiplicity of it, right, and the open-ended of it. I don't think, even like schematically, people, there's schemes everywhere, right? And the longer you're in this profession, I have playbooks for however many feet tall through the years, right? So I don't think it's a scheme so much, but I think it's the availability to get to different schemes and also playing into the strengths of your players. So whether it be checks into good or bad plays, or, this guy might not necessarily be this good at this route, let's work him with this route, or let's play this receiver at this position. I think it's more that, and then the flexibility for us to be able to get to that, whether it be wide sets, bunch sets, schematically, we have a lot of flexibility that way.
Grimstead's part of the 20, right?
He is, yep.
Can you speak on just the specific leadership and I guess poise that Dylan's shown so far?
Yeah, I think it's probably twofold, right? There's a mannerism and there's an aura about it. I think that's important. We talk about that because people feed off of that aura, but I think there's a confidence that you hear in tone of voice and being vocal, and, hey, somebody runs the wrong route, you let them know, or just the confidence of maybe a protection call, or, hey, let's challenge Ben Scott on a call. Hey, this is what I see. I want to do this, right? And the conviction of making those calls, that only comes with confidence. So if you're second guessing yourself, everybody else is going to feel that. So the more and more that we're in this, the more and more reps that we get, you feel that confidence with all the players. I would say all quarterbacks, and then all the other guys, if you will follow that lead because of that confidence.
Can you teach that, or is that just something somebody has in you when you get it?
Probably a little of both, I would say, probably a little of both, but I definitely think there's an element of teaching to it, and I think that comes a lot in the meeting room, because if they understand what you're teaching in the meeting room and they really grasp that, I think they can really speak in confidence, right? And they can feel that confidence when they make a check or make a call, as opposed to kind of, tippy-toeing up to a call.
Who's your fifth quarterback that you can't? You mentioned the four already. Who would be your fifth guy?
Bodie, yep.
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.